guys, welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Here I teach you how to make easy and delicious recipes to share with your loved ones so that way you too can create long-lasting memories. Now, today I'm going to teach you how to make my Koupes pie. Basically, in Greek, it's called plyguri me kima, and really all it is kibbeh. Now, kibbeh is super popular. It's a fast food. Comes from Lebanon. You might have had it if you dine in a Mediterranean restaurant or in an Arabic restaurant. They're those elongated meatballs that are made with bulgur, mincemeat, and lots of herbs. They're so yummy. Usually they're served with a Lebanese tahini sauce, and they're just incredible. They're so flavorful, but they are very tedious to make. They take a lot of time. Plus, who wants to fry things when you can bake it and still get all that flavor? So I'm going to put everything into a pie. It's going to still have all of that flavor, all of that goodness. It's going to taste good the next day and the day after that too. And it's going to be healthier. It all begins with the bulgur wheat. Now you want to buy the finely ground one. They usually have fine, medium, and coarse. Fine is what you're looking for when you're making this recipe. You can find it in a local Middle Eastern grocery store. A lot of times it's sold in supermarkets because it's so common. If not, you'll find it in a Greek, Mediterranean, or Middle Eastern store. What you're going to do is you're going to put it in a bowl with a little bit of flour and some salt. Mix it all together, and then you're going to pour plenty of boiling hot water on top of that. Give it a nice mix, and also put some oil in there. A little bit of olive oil, mix it up and cover it and let it sit for about 50 minutes to an hour. It's going to absorb that water and it's going to hydrate and become nice and soft. In the meantime, we're going to cook the onions. So I have 2 onions here. One is going to be for the filling, the mincemeat filling, and the other one is going to be for the exterior or the crust, the bulgur crust. I'm going to cook them all together over medium heat. First, finely chop them, then put them in the cast iron skillet or whatever pan or pot you're using. Cook them over medium heat for about 10 minutes until they're nice and soft and golden with some olive oil. So the onions are nice and golden. What I'm going to do at this point is take a little bit less than half of them and put them in the bulgur mixture. This still needs about 6-7 minutes, but doesn't matter. I'll just put them in right now and I'll mix it later. Now go ahead and grate 3 garlic cloves and add them to the onion mixture. They just need to be warmed through for just a few seconds. They're finely grated and they'll burn if you let them warm too much. Now I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef to this. You could use ground beef, ground chicken, ground lamb. If you want to keep it vegetarian, I have a vegetarian bolognese sauce that you can use instead of this whole thing, and that would work too. Break it all up. And we're just going to brown it a little bit first. So it just takes a few minutes to brown a little bit. Now I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. This is a pound of meat, so about a half teaspoon is fine. You could add less if you like, that's fine. A little bit of black pepper, or a lot, depends how much you like. Crushed red pepper flakes for heat if you like it. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin for that earthy goodness. And now we're going to cook this for about 10 minutes until the meat is perfectly cooked. In the meantime, I'm going to finely chop some fresh parsley and some fresh mint. So part of the recipe is a little bit of pine nuts or even some sliced blanched almonds. I have none of the two, and we're still in the quarantine, so I just didn't feel like going out to buy those just for one ingredient. So I'm leaving it plain just so you know that works perfectly well. There's a lot of flavor. However, if you do have pine nuts or if you have almonds, sliced almonds at home, go ahead and add them because they're going to add really nice texture. So now the meat is done, it's cooked. I turned the heat off and I'm going to add the herbs. I add lots of herbs because it really wakes it up and, cuts the heaviness of the beef. Mix it all together. You don't have to add as much as I do. You can put a little bit less if you like. That smells so good. I'm going to give it a taste to see if it needs more salt or pepper. That is so good. Put that over some pasta, or you can make little beef patties with it. You could stuff phyllo, puff pastry, or even homemade pie crust. You can make little hand pies. That would be delicious. I'm going to set it aside to cool a little bit because now we're going to prepare our bulgur mixture. The bulgur should be nice and soft at this point. Let me clean this area up and then we're going to move on. Okay, so about 55 minutes have passed. I'm going to go ahead and mix up the bulgur and the onion mixture. Oh, and I'm also going to add a little pinch of cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is a very prevalent flavor in this dish, but we have 5 kids and everybody has different tastes. So most of them do not like cinnamon taste in savory food. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit in there, a 1/4 teaspoon. They won't even know it's there. You can leave it out or you could add up to a 1/2 teaspoon or even a little bit more if you like it. And I'm going to taste it to see if it needs a little bit more seasoning because right after this, I'm going to mix in some ground beef, and I do not taste anything with raw uncooked meat in it. So I'm going to taste it now. It does need a little bit more salt. Where is it? So I'm going to add some salt right now. And then since the ground beef is going to go in here, I'm going to add more salt for the ground beef. So there's going to be a pound of ground beef in here. Again, you could do ground lamb, ground chicken, or if you're leaving it vegetarian or vegan, don't put any meat in here. You could add some more herbs or just leave it as is. If you want me to teach you how to make a vegetarian version, let me know down in the comments below and I'll do that. Now I have a pound of beef here and I'm just going to mix it in. I'm going to do it with my hands. Forgot to add the salt. Add about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and just mix it until it's all combined. And that's it. This is ready to go. This is what it should look like. It should hold together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use half of this mixture to line the bottom, and it's going to go up the sides too, of a 10-inch round pie plate. That's what this fits in. If you don't have a round and you have a square one, that will work too. So that's done. Now I'm going to add all of the beef filling in here. I wish this was a lighter pan so I could just pick it up and toss everything in. I'm definitely lacking in the patience department. Now at this point, you can just leave it as is because it has so much flavor. But if you wanted to kick it up a little bit, a notch or two, you can put some crumbled feta cheese in here and then, that is going to be absolutely delicious. The remaining mixture is going to go on top. So now what you want to do is score it. So you can cut it into however many serving pieces that you're going to serve it in. If you want to serve it like a dinner portion or a main entree portion, you can cut it into triangles like you would a pizza. But I'm going to cut it into little diamond shapes. The way you do that, but before I do that actually, let me put some olive oil on top so it can get really nice and golden. I'm going to use this same bowl. Just a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm just going to brush the top with it. And now I'm just going to score it on top. I'm going to cut lines down the top, just all the way down to where the meat filling is. You don't have to go that deep. Straight lines all the way down like that. 3 should be good. And now I'm going to do diagonal lines. There's 1. There's 2. And 3. I'm also going to sprinkle the top just with a little bit of salt. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is going to bake for about 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to take it out once the top gets nice and golden, and then it's going to be ready to serve. The pie is ready. It bakes for almost an hour. Now you can turn on the broiler element for the last like 3 or 4 minutes so it can get really nice and deeply golden on top and create a really crisp crust. It smells amazing. You're going to want to let it cool for about 20-30 minutes or even maybe a little bit longer if you care about the pieces holding their shape. Obviously I don't because I took one out and it literally fell apart. Doesn't matter, it's still going to taste amazing. I also made some tahini sauce with this, which is super simple. A few basic ingredients whisked together that go really well with this. Serve it with some lemon wedges. I'm drooling, and as I'm about to eat this, I'm thinking of my good friend Nadia. She used to work with us when we had the restaurant, and it's the first time I ever tasted kibbeh. I know it's a Greek thing too, but it's not so common. I didn't grow up eating it, but she made it, and it was so delicious. And every time I make this now, I think of her. So you guys make this for your loved one, so that way you can have those beautiful memories to look back on. She was also so funny. I'm gonna go in and take a bite, dip it in the sauce as well. Oh my God. That is amazing. Even though there's a tiny bit of cinnamon in there, I can personally taste it. So if you have family members or kids that are not into cinnamon, leave it out. You could throw some raisins, pine nuts, walnuts, even almonds into the filling, and it's gonna taste like holiday stuffing. That is what it really tastes like. It's so aromatic, so delicious. The recipe is underneath this video in the description box down below. Everything is on there, the ingredients, the exact measurements, all of the instructions. Go ahead and get those down below. Make sure you click on this card over here so you can make this tahini sauce to go with it. Make this for your family and friends, and I will see you right over there in the next video. Thank you guys so much. Bye.